All right, I'm back. It's been a few weeks, a very busy few weeks, but I'm here. I was hoping I'd be a lot more refreshed and relaxed by the time I came back to doing videos, but I'm more tired than ever. Why? Let's get into it. Hey all, I'm Andrew from Stasis Booth Games, and I'm currently developing We Are Not Alone, a hybrid first-person / third-person point-and-click adventure horror experience. Now, if that sounds cool to you, there's trailers and links to the Steam and Epic pages in the description. If you could wishlist it, I would really appreciate it. Alright, so on to the meat of things. Why am I still so tired? Why am I more tired after I've taken a break from doing this? Well, a couple of days ago, I submitted the first funding application for We Are Not Alone. It's really exciting. It'll take a few weeks at least before I hear anything back, but it's really, really exciting. And let me tell you that completing a funding application is no easy task. I had to look into things such as government award wages so I know I'm paying myself fairly and that they can see I'm trying to pay myself fairly, workers' compensation, legal fees, insurances, the list goes on. At least I know if this funding does go through, I'll be paying myself fairly. Aside from all that, there was a lot of other documentation that had to be completed, such as... Excuse me. Alright. It's cat break time because she keeps walking all over stuff. There you go. Oh, you're a bit blurry. I'm not trying to protect your privacy. It's just how you're showing up. Let me try that. There we go. Mwah. Yep. You're on Devlog again, sweetie. As I was saying, apart from the budget, there was a lot of other documentation to do, especially in terms of project planning and development planning. And if you've been watching these videos, you'll know that I use a sprint board. A physical sprint board, as you can see here. Now, I can't really well just take a picture of that and send it in because that is not good documentation. It's good for helping me get things done, but it's not the greatest form of documentation to be giving to people that you're trying to get some money for to make your game. So for now, I've switched my project management tool to Jira. If you haven't dealt with it before, it is free for smaller projects and teams. It's actually really good. It allows me to keep my project roadmap, all my tasks, and all my sprint boards in one web-based system. But as I've said in the past, the physical sprint board itself helps me immensely because I've got this thing always sitting right there, staring at me with a bunch of tasks that I know I must do. So yeah, there is a little bit extra I need to do from getting it to the web-based sprint board and then written out onto my physical one. But it's really good. It helps me keep track of the bigger picture rather than just my single sprints. Although when I was just saying that, I thought a really cool weekend project would be having a touchscreen linked to the Jira web app that then I could move the tasks on. I'll keep that one in mind. With all the documentation done, I had to also create a pitch video and a gameplay video. Now, gameplay video is fairly easy. It just said minimum of 30 seconds. No worries there at all. The pitch video, on the other hand, had a maximum time of 3 minutes where you had to talk about your game, your target audience, what funding would do to impact your business, and okay. I wrote a script, got everything down, recorded it. It said maximum 3 minutes. Without trying to, it was 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Nailed it. Bit of re-editing though, re-recording different takes and just trying out a few things out. I got it done pretty quickly. Documentation done, videos done, funding application submitted. Holy crap, that's done. I didn't realize how stressed I was about it for probably the months leading up because it was the application, but also getting the demo into a perfectly playable place. Thank you very much to the testers, especially Deadguard and Kaylee May. I'll put their links down in the description. So the application though has been submitted. If you can just wish me luck in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. Now for the project itself, the big meaty stuff. What's been happening with the project? So the past few weeks in terms of the project, it has been mainly testing, making sure that all the tiny little bugs have been found and fixed. And thank you again, I know I just mentioned them, but thank you again so much to my testers for playing so many different builds of the game, but also for still finding it fun and interesting. It really means a lot that you can play the same half hour and still be enjoying yourself. So yeah, while there has been a bunch of tiny bugs found, quite a lot of tiny bugs, they didn't necessarily need fixing. They weren't impacting the gameplay in any real bad way, but I wanted to make sure this was polished, and I probably spent a bit too long on the polishing for this demo. It's just what I wanted, and I wanted to feel comfortable giving them something polished. A few little changes I have made just so it's not boring and all about bugs is I added an extra library door into the mess hall. Now, it's just a door. It's not an actual library, but it lets your imagination go. Having doorways you can't get into kind of makes a player think, hey, how big is this place really? How expansive is it? And how do all these places interconnect into each other? Just a little bit of world building, and of course, every character has books in their room, like a lot of books. So where are they getting them from? Navigation and pathfinding was another one that Riley could get stuck on things because most movement can be interrupted. It wasn't that big of a deal, but the fix for that was I basically just moved anything that was central to a room that she could get stuck on, just closer to the edges, so the navigation mesh was kind of okay with it. And now she's not getting stuck on stuff. At least I hope not, because we found a lot of those. And inventory interactions. So I started doing these back at the start. I put it on, say, the wrench object. When you open your inventory, you can right click and examine it. And I'd only done it on that one. And a tester brought it to my attention that you can do it on the wrench, but nothing else. So I've just added like these nice little interactions. Some of them are kind of funny, little Easter eggy kind of things. So when you do get your hands on the demo, try that out. And no, the demo still isn't public, unfortunately. If you do want to know as soon as it is available publicly though, so you can get your hands on it, there is a link in the description to sign up for the newsletter. I won't spam you with anything. It's just going to be about the demo and maybe anything else I'm doing that seems cool. So yeah, link in the description. You might have also known that the backdrop here is a little bit different. The lighting looks a bit better. That's because I spent an entire day reorganizing everything in my office. Here, check out a picture of what it looks like now. If you want to know what it looks like beforehand, you can go back and see the studio tour. I'll put a link up here in the cards. So where to from here? The next few weeks, while I anxiously await news of this funding application, will be spent on a few crucial things because it is a little bit of a lull. I've got a lot to work on, but while things are a little bit quieter and I haven't got confirmed funding, I can do some crucial things that if I try to do them later, it's just going to become a nightmare. So first on that is I have to recode the entire camera placement pickup system. When I say recode the entire, it's actually not that bad. So the way it works now is a bit shit, and considering the length and how big this game is going to be in terms of how many areas, it is going to become a nightmare to manage if I don't do it now and try to do it later. So if I do it while I've only got 10 scenes in the game, it's fine. If I try to do it once that's expanded out to like 30, maybe more scenes, I just can't even fathom trying to go back and refix that then. Another thing I have to do, and this is going to sound a little bit strange, is finalize the story. So I've got in my head the beginning, the middle, the end, and a ton of notes about what I want to happen as it progresses. But what I don't have is a full start to finish draft of the entire story. And as I said, that may sound very strange, but I'm a big believer in emergent gameplay and storytelling. If I'd had a pre-planned start to finish when I made this demo, and I had everything written down, everything that I wanted to do specifically, half the cool shit that is in the demo that emerged from me just messing around with mechanics and also people testing it, it just wouldn't be there. So yeah, while it does seem strange, there's a method to my madness. I know where the story's going, it's just not written beat by beat. And in a way, I kind of would encourage people to do that. Don't be so rigid with a project and plan you've created. Work on the mechanics, start figuring out what's actually cool. You should, yeah, have a plan, but not a rigid plan. Hopefully that makes sense. And the third major thing I need to focus on is planning my backups. Now, I don't mean physical files here. That's all sorted onto multiple hard drives and cloud storage and version control software. What I mean is, what happens if this funding fails? What happens if I don't get the money I'm hoping for? Am I completely effed? Well, no. I've got backup plans, and there's a few things that I can do without risking having to go back to a 9-to-5 job or even a part-time job. And there's quite a few avenues that people probably wouldn't consider because they've got so much confidence about their project that they don't want to even think that things can fail. But me, I like to plan contingencies. I'm kind of a catastrophizer in some ways, and that I think nothing's ever going to work. But it also helps in this situation because I can prevent myself from being absolutely screwed if this funding is declined. So if the funding is declined for whatever reason, I've also got the local state government funding that I can apply for, which is decent, and it's going to be about the same amount of money. Or the other thing I can do is go for a Kickstarter campaign. Now, if you remember from the earlier videos, the plan was to release the demo pretty soon alongside a Kickstarter campaign. But given the times that this funding round closed that I've applied for, it was just too risky. So Kickstarter is currently the backup option. If the funding fails for whatever reason, it could just be something in my documentation that is not correct. But once I get the feedback, as long as I haven't signed an NDA and I'm allowed to, I'll give it to you guys as well. As I said, I want this to be an open experience of what it's like to be a game dev. So we've got the two options, the local state government and also Kickstarter. I'm planning those now because as soon as I get the decision from this funding application, I want to be able to hit the switch and get these going. Because if I don't, I'll hear that maybe it's failed. Okay, whatever. It's then going to be months before I can kick these other things off. So I need to focus on them now to prevent myself being fucked over in the future. All right, that's about it for me this week. Apologies for the 2-week break. I felt like I just needed to focus entirely on this application. There just wasn't that much I could talk about, or that I couldn't go into too much detail on at the time. I was proud of myself for not missing an upload week since end of December. I think I started this channel. That was really, really good. And I wanted to keep that streak going, but I realized that I don't want to put out videos for the sake of putting out videos. If I don't have anything to say, why would you want to be listening to me? I mean, it'd be good. Maybe my voice is good for background noise. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't wishlisted We Are Not Alone, there are links in the description. I would really appreciate. You don't even have to wishlist. Just check the page out, check out the trailers, the screenshots. Let me know what you think. I'm also planning to get back into the devlog topics in the next few weeks. While things are slower, start planning those, recording them, and getting them ready to just stagger the release. Again, before things get too hectic, I'd love to have some videos in backup, really. So if you have anything at all you would like to ask me about the game dev space, being an indie dev, or getting into it, let me know in the comments and maybe we'll do a topic video about it. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Andrew from Stasis Booth Games, and as always, stay indie.